All right, what's up, everybody? I'm Coach Jack. Okay, I'm the owner of Close the Gate Hoops, which is a basketball training business that some of these kids have gone to. Today I also opened another business in my father's honor, which I'm going to talk about a lot today. But the goal of this speech for me today, and so when we go through this, it's going to be very interactive. Okay, so I ask for one thing is eyes and ears. So when I'm talking, you're looking at me and you're engaged. Okay, so you're not talking to other people, because I promise you, if you soak in what I say in this speech, it can change how you live the rest of your life, if you accept it, right? But the goal of this speech, I'm going to try and show you everything I wish I would have known at your age, okay, on 4 main key concepts of life, okay? Because I do a lot of these speeches with people that play sports, but not everyone here probably plays sports. So we're going to talk about the things we can learn from sports even if you don't play, all right? So the 4 main key concepts, okay, the first one's meaning, okay? The second one is happiness. The third one's the mind, okay, how we think. And the fourth one's adversity, how to handle adversity. Okay? And so when I go through this, don't be scared to raise your hand or to give examples, because I'm going to be asking for, at one point, all of you are going to say something to me. Okay? So you got to be ready. All right? So the first thing we're going to do today, you guys. All right, I have a number written on the board. All right? What do you think this number means? Any ideas? I'd be surprised if you knew.
How many people have joined?
Oh, that's a good guess.
How many people have donated to the Honey Humble Foundation?
That I wish. That would be awesome. Last one.
How old you are?
Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's the amount of days I've lived. Right there. That's how many days I've lived. Can I write that on the top of my notebook every single day? Does anybody have any idea why I would do this? Any ideas? Keep track, okay? So I like to call it death wisdom. Okay, so that's not something we want to fear, and it's not something we should avoid. And I'll do my best to incorporate faith and spirituality and scripture throughout the speech, because obviously the end goal is to get to heaven, okay? But what it shows me is that our time is limited, right? Our time is limited. So we want to try and become the best versions of ourselves every single day that we're alive. Okay, so that's basically what meaning is. Does that make sense? Okay, so what we're going to do for meaning, I want everyone to write in their notebooks meaning down with a line under it. Okay, meaning with a line under it. Okay? Then, under meaning, what we're going to write down is values. Okay, values. Can anyone tell me what a value is? What's a value? Yes. Something important, okay? You're definitely on the right track. So a value is something really important that we live our life by. Okay, it's kind of like a code that we live our life. All right, so it's important we establish those values, okay, and live by them. All right, so an example of my values, okay, one of them is work ethic, right? If I work really, really hard at something, I know I put forth my best effort, so I have nothing to worry about. Another one is faith and spirituality, right? Being close to God is a value that I live by. Family is a value, spending time with family, okay? So what I want you guys to do, this is called a values ring activity, so write down values ring in your notebook. And I want you to come up with 3 things that are very, very important to you in life. Very important to you. Okay, and what you need to live by every single day. And for the 3rd and 4th graders, I normally talk to middle schoolers. So if I ever say a big word or questions and you need to raise your hand, don't be scared to ask any questions. And if you ever raise your hand if an activity doesn't make sense, and a teacher will come help you figure out how to do it, if they know how to. Make sense? Okay, does anybody want to give an example of a value they wrote that I didn't say yet? Yes?
My dog.
Your dogs. Really, really? Okay. So that's good. Your dogs. Let's hear another one. Water? Okay. So, in terms of values, you guys, I want you to think of it as spending time. Right? So, dogs could be one, okay? But spending your time with water, is that really, really, it's a need, right? But in terms of family, okay, that's what's important to you. So not necessarily things that are necessities that everybody needs, because some people have different values. Does that make sense? Good health, right? So health can definitely be a value. Being healthy, right? Eating healthy, exercising, that's something you can live your life by. Education, that's really good. Learning, that's 100% a value. What'd you say, buddy? Yep, so work ethic, right? Working hard, that's really good.
God, family.
Family, beautiful. God and family.
Baseball.
Playing baseball, so baseball can be a value, right? For me, when I was growing up, it was basketball. Last one.
Going to school.
Going to school, yes, so learning. You're on the right track, beautiful. So does everyone have 3 values written down, at least?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, so Now, the next thing we're going to write under values, you guys. Okay, the second step is now balance. Okay, balance. All right. So now we have to learn how to balance these values. Okay, so personal experience and example. When I was growing up, I was obsessed with becoming a Division I basketball player. Right now I play at Platteville. They're not Division I. Okay, but I spent so much time working at basketball, which was a value, that I didn't spend as much time with family. Right? So with the values you've written down, I want you to try and find a medium with all of them. So say you spend a ton of time with your value of baseball. That probably means you don't spend as much time with family. Do you think family is important? Is that a value? Yeah. So I want you to write in your notebook a little less of baseball and a little more of family. Does that make sense, you guys? So now you're trying to balance out the values you wrote personally. So whatever the 3 you wrote, okay, and if you think you have great balance, then you can just keep them the same. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Are there questions? No? All right. You guys are smart. What do you have, Gabby?
Sports, school.
Learning, dogs, and family. Okay, do you think you do a good job of spending time with all those?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's beautiful. So Gabby thinks you should keep things the same. Does that make sense? So now we're learning to balance these values. Okay? The third thing we're going to write down. All right, the third thing we're going to write down is growth. All right? And I'll talk about this more in a little bit, okay? But growing, the happiest people in the world are always focused on growing themselves, always focused on being better, okay? So today, I'm going to talk about a story in Scripture, okay? So there's an author named Mark Batterson, okay? And he wrote a book, and it's called In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day, all right? And this story is in the Bible, all right? It's not very well known, so you might not know. Does anybody remember Benaiah in the Bible? No? It's okay if you don't. Okay, so basically what happened in this story, you guys, okay, Benaiah was faced with a lion, okay, and Benaiah saw the lion, and if all of you saw a lion, what would you normally do? You would run the other way, right? So this lion represents fear, or our uncomfortable feeling that we feel, right? So instead of Benaiah running away, he ran towards the lion. And not only did he run towards the lion, he jumped in a pit with the lion, and he ended up being the only one that came out. Right? So this is an example, a metaphor for chasing lions in our life, and that's how we grow. What do you think a great example of chasing a lion is for me right now? What am I doing right now? Talking in front of a bunch of people. It may look like I'm not that nervous, but I was pretty nervous before I got here. Okay? So this is an example of me chasing a lion every single day. Okay, so I want everyone to write down in their notebook, chase a lion activity. So I want you all to think of something that makes you uncomfortable. It could be raising your hand in class. It could be making a new friend. Okay, think of something that you fear that you know is good for you. This is important because do most of us fear spiders? Yeah. Okay, is chasing a spider really going to do good for us? Probably not. Right? So think of something you fear that you know is good for you. Does that make sense on what a lion is? Yes? Okay. Let's think of a lion you want to chase today. It could be today, this week. Could be in the future, like speaking. Okay? And I need some volunteers. Someone give me an example of the lion they're going to chase today that I haven't talked about. Public speaking. About what? Anything? What interests you?
Basketball.
Basketball? Okay, so it's important to try and be specific when we're writing down these examples. Gabby?
Being alone.
Being what? Alone. Okay, that's really good. So a lot of times when we're alone, we're lonely, correct? So an example of chasing a lion is going out and making new friends and being with other people that are around us. Does this make sense, you guys? Eating healthy. So it's a struggle for you to eat healthy, so that's awesome. Okay? So chasing a lion for him is eating healthy. Yes?
Staying in the dark, like pitch black.
Okay. So like trying to make new friends so you're not lonely? Is that what you're trying to get at? Yes?
No, I'm just scared of the dark.
Oh, you're scared of the dark. Okay, so that's actually really, really good. So that's an example of building our fear muscle, right? So it's something you fear. An example of how you build that fear muscle, all right, is by going to the dark. Because is anything really going to happen in the dark? Like your basement? I remember when I was in 3rd grade, I was scared of that basement. Okay? So, and this is another good story. So in 6th grade, I went to SJV. I'm an SJV alumni, so I definitely know what it's like to grow up in a Catholic school. Okay? I failed the speech contest on purpose so I wouldn't have to speak in front of people. Isn't that funny? So how do you think I got to this moment? What'd I chase a bunch of? Lions. So I started really small, like maybe going in the dark in the basement, and it built up to this moment. Are there questions on this? No? All right, next activity, I'm looking for different volunteers, not the same ones that raise their hand. All right, the fourth thing we're going to write down a meaning, you guys, okay, is influence. Influence. Okay, so it's really important that we talked about growth because we have to grow ourselves first, okay? But now we can find meaning, okay, in influencing other people in what we've learned. Does this make sense? So there's something called generational influence. What does this mean? Anybody have a guess? Oh, I thought you were...
Like main things that influence you in your life, like main people.
You're close. Yeah, you're really, really close.
You influence things that people will see like down generations. And
Boom. So, like right now, so my father passed away 2 years ago, okay? A lot of the words I'm speaking right now are his words, things he taught me. So he's leaving his mark on the world even though he's gone, right? So that's another example of how we can find meaning is by trying to influence people so that they can also change their life down the road for many generations. Does this make sense? Yes? Okay, so what we're going to do today, okay, and again, can we just start doing big, big things, like big ambition goals? Like, could you go public speak tomorrow? No, right? You got to do little things to build up to that moment, okay? So what we're going to do is I want you to think of one way that you could influence someone today. Okay, one way you can influence someone today. I did this with sports, so the last speech I had was with the football team. Eyes and ears, okay? Last speech I had was with the football team. Examples they gave of how they could influence another person. Bring an extra practice jersey in case someone forgets it. Helping them put their pads on, okay? Doing things for others that can make them better people. Does this make sense? I need a specific example that you can do today. And one of you that hasn't talked yet is going to say something to me. Got it? Yeah? All right, let's see it. Boom.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Life sometimes appears to be random and cruel, and in our lowest moments we feel lonely and insignificant. But what if we had access to the best advice from history's greatest books and sages condensed into 5-minute lessons that taught us how to rise above anxiety, depression, and fear? Life's 3 Things podcast is designed to do just that. If you feel you need a quick boost of strength, wisdom, or inspiration, subscribe to Life's 3 Things from author Manny Garcia, wherever you listen to podcasts.
If you want baseball, sure, bring an extra bat because someone can lay you to it.
Extra bat, that's good. So let's try and think of an example that I didn't say that's not similar. But that's good that you thought of that. Did you raise your hand?
Help my teammates if they do something wrong in practice.
Okay, help your team. Yeah, so encouragement, being a leader, that's really good. Okay, I need a specific answer that you can do today. Do you have practice today? Beautiful. So what's one thing you could say to do that?
Like if they run the play wrong.
Beautiful. Okay. Eyes and ears, buddy. Okay, that's awesome. So really try and be specific with these examples. Does everyone have this written down? Yes? Raise your hand if you don't have it written down. You don't have it written down yet, buddy? You're good. So we'll give you like 30 seconds. Try and think of something you could do today. What's for lunch today? Hot dogs? What do you normally get with hot dogs? Just hot dogs? Okay, well, if there's a little side of something, okay, say you got a side food, you can maybe give that side food to someone else that might be more hungry than you.
Yeah, like sometimes we have food.
Okay, yeah, like you could give that to someone else. That's an example of something so little that you can influence someone. What's my example of influence, probably? What am I doing right now? Speech, right? I'm talking to some of you, and hopefully some of you take away the things I talk about. Make sense? Okay, eyes and ears, guys. When I'm talking, you're looking at me. Other than when you're writing, obviously. Okay? Now, what we're going to go to. Okay, part 2. Very, very important word. Happiness. So we're going to write this down in our notebook. Happiness. Okay, can anyone tell me what happiness means? It's a hard thing to describe, isn't it?
Enjoying what you do.
That's a really good description. So enjoying what you do.
It's very strong and feeling that makes you feel very good.
There you go. Feel good. So I'll put it in quotation marks. Happiness is that long-lasting feel good. Okay, we don't want the short-lasting feel good. Okay, that's the difference between happiness and pleasure. Eating a full box of Oreos is an example of pleasure, right? In the moment, it feels great. In 30 minutes, you'll probably be on the toilet and not feeling too good about yourself, right? Okay, so that's what we're going to work on today is something called that long-lasting feel good of happiness, okay? What's important to understand, so when I'm talking, I'm not doing an activity right now, so you're looking at me. You're not drawing on, everyone put their stuff down. They're notebooks and pencils, so they're not playing with it. Okay? So there's three things before I start teaching you the steps, okay, to understand about happiness. First, every action we take is looking for happiness. So do you think it's important we learn how to cultivate it and get more of it? Yes. So when we work hard at a sport, we're trying to achieve something because we think it will make us what? Happy. So every action we take, every little action in your life is looking for that happiness, that feel good long-lasting feeling. Does this make sense? The second thing, and we're going to write this down so you can't pick up your notebooks now, okay, is, oh, there we go. Okay, happiness before success. Happiness before, underline before success. Okay, and success can mean a lot of things. I'm going to explain that once you guys are done writing this down. Many people have this equation flipped. So eyes and ears once you're done writing. Okay, many people have this equation flipped. So they think, you girls are good, keep writing until you got it. Can everyone see the whiteboard okay? Big enough, letters? Okay. So many people think that success comes first and then happiness follows. Okay, they think once I accomplish this, then I'll be happy. Once I get this new toy, then I'll be happy. Once I do this, then I'll be happy. When in reality, we need to focus on happiness first, and then everything else around us, right, will elevate. Does that make sense, how that works? So we want to focus on happy first, success will follow. Not success first, and then happy will follow. Make sense? So, the second thing we're going to write down is called the happiness baseline. Happiness baseline. Okay, so does anybody want to even try and guess what this means?
Where you're happy.
You're very close. Last guess.
How to be happy?
Well, yes, I'm going to teach you the process of that. Okay, so the happiness baseline, it's scientifically proven. Eyes and ears. No matter what happens outside of you, you're always going to come back to this internal baseline inside you of happiness. So that means even if you win the lottery, you might be really, really, really happy for 3 to 6 months. But your mind and body get used to its environment. So eventually it's going to come back down to that happiness baseline. So do you think we should focus on things outside of us to make us happy? Or should we raise that happiness baseline? The baseline, right? Because then you can be happy with no matter what happens outside of you, right? Because it's inside of you. That's all you have. Does this make sense on how the visual works? So right over here, and I'll tell you when you're coming up, but this represents the happiness baseline. So an example, if you won the lottery, in 3 months, you'll feel like that. 6 months, you're back to this baseline. Okay, so today what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to raise that baseline. Are there any questions on this? No. Okay, so the first activity we're going to do with the happiness baseline, okay, is called happiness fade. So what does fade mean? Does anyone know? It goes a what? Away. It goes away over time. Okay? So what I want you to do for this activity, I want you to think of something in your past, all right, that you thought once you got that, you're going to be happy for the rest of your life. And then after a little while, it went away, and you went back to your normal self. That's a perfect example of how we come back to that happiness baseline. For me, okay, when I was growing up, my dad was in a band, So when I was 10 years old, I really, really wanted a guitar. I talked about it for like 3 months. Once I got the guitar, that day I was really happy. I never used it after that day in my life. Right? So that's an example of how it faded after the first day, that happiness feeling. Does that make sense? So I need everyone to think of a specific example in their life to them.
Like getting like Minecraft plushie that I wanted, and I wanted 2 of them, but then my mom gave me one, and then after one day, I was like not obsessed with that.
Okay, so once he got this Minecraft part, I'm not a huge Minecraft guy, so I don't know exactly how it works. But yes, okay, so he got something in this Minecraft game, okay, and then after you got it, it went away, right? That feeling of happiness? Yes, correct? Beautiful. Okay, another specific example, someone I haven't heard from today.
One time I got a new toy, and I was really happy that I wanted to go play with it and stuff. But then the more I had it, the more my happiness went back to the baseline.
That is awesome. That's perfect right there. Great demonstration. Anybody else?
When I got a new game, and just a couple of days later I didn't use it because the baseline just went back.
That's beautiful. Man, you guys are catching on to this quick. Okay, another thing. So once you're done writing stuff down, stop playing with your paper because I can hear some of you playing with your paper. All right, now, there's 7 steps to increasing your happiness baseline. The first one we're going to write. Gratefulness. Gratefulness. Does anybody know what gratefulness is?
Being grateful for what you have.
Beautiful, right there. So gratefulness is focusing on what you have, not what you don't have. Okay? So when we do this activity, it's very important to be specific. Yes, is it important to be grateful for food, your house, and water? Yes. But say you're writing it down in your notebook every single day, it'll lose that gratefulness value. Okay, that feeling that makes you appreciative of what you have. So what I want you to do is try and be as specific as you can for something that you are grateful for today. So let me start. Okay, I am extremely grateful. I had to drive 2 hours from Platteville to come here. I'm extremely grateful that I made it back here in one piece. Okay, so I'm still alive. That's an example of specific gratefulness, instead of just saying being alive. Does that make sense? So I'm glad that I didn't get in a crash while I was on my way here. Do we all got this? So right now you're writing down one specific thing you're grateful for today.
I'm grateful for us being able to see you here today.
You're my favorite. But that's an awesome example, okay? The opportunity to learn, okay? Any others? Someone that hasn't gone? Nope, sorry, buddy. You're doing a great job. Keep raising your hand, though. Someone else? Your family? So what parts of your family? So this is where we need to get specific.
My mom and my dad.
What do they do for you?
They take care of me.
They take care of you? How do they take care of you? Freeze. Eyes and ears. When someone else is talking, what do? Do we pay attention? Yes. Sorry, say what you said again. So providing you with things that you need, right? That's awesome. So that's how we can get more specific. So ask yourself questions, what does it actually pertain to me? Does this make sense? Now we're doing 2 activities for this. So actually, what's your name in the back? Danielle? Beautiful. Can you come up for me? So I'm going to ask a volunteer for each one. So what I need you to do, there's a red marker and a blue marker right there. I want you to raise the happiness baseline just a little bit. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you'll erase that red line. So everyone watch. So we're going to slowly raise our happiness baseline as we do these activities to show you how this would work. Okay? So while Danielle does that, I'm going to explain the next activity. So eyes and ears on me. Okay? Complaining. Can anybody tell me what complaining is?
Being ungrateful.
Being ungrateful, yes. So it's the complete root opposite of gratefulness. It's focusing on the things you don't have. You talk about the things that didn't go your way. It's not the way you want it to be. Secrets at complaining. Nobody cares and it gets nothing accomplished and you just annoy the other person. Okay, thank you. Okay, so do you think it's good when we complain? No, it takes away from our gratefulness. We don't want that. Right? That lowers our happiness baseline. Okay? There's no way none of you have complained yet today. So I want a specific example from your day-to-day that you already complained about. Okay? So for me, I'll use this again. I had to drive 2 hours to get here. Not a huge fan of driving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark my arm. So once you write down what you've complained about, okay, I want you to do tallies on your arm. Okay, why do you think I would do this? You got it. Is it going to show me how much I complain? Beautiful. So it's going to show me how much I complain. So if I go to bed every night and I have a ton of tallies on there, do you think I'm going to subconsciously kind of try and improve upon not complaining? Yeah. Yes. Yes, Gabby?
My pencil.
Okay, yes. If you got a pencil, don't mark your arm, which most of you do. But say you have a pen one day, try and mark your arm for complaining. Does that make sense? That's okay. I don't want you to mark your arm with a pencil. Okay? So, someone I haven't heard from today. A specific example of complaining that you said today already. Somebody.
That I can't have gym today or PE.
That's beautiful. Okay? No gym today. Come on. All right? What else?
We're probably going to have homework.
What'd you say, buddy?
We're probably going to have homework.
We're going to have homework. Okay, that sucks. One more.
Waking up.
Waking up?
Yeah.
Like early? Yeah. Okay, so waking up too early. Last one.
I was going to say the same thing.
Okay.
I need to sharpen my pencil.
Oh, you need to sharpen your pencil? Okay, go grab one from a teacher. Last one.
We're not going to eat one thing today.
You only eaten one thing today? So you're hungry? That's awesome. What's your name? Amira? Okay. Come up. You're going to do the happiness baseline for complaining. Sound good? Do you remember what to do?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Last one, buddy. I'll get you on the next one. Okay? Now, we're past gratefulness. We raised our happiness baseline a little bit. Okay? The second step to gratefulness, this is a big word. Okay, so younger kids, ask questions. Detachment. Detachment. Very big word. Let's write this in our notebooks. Okay. So, can anybody tell me what attachment is? Being attached to something. Thank you.
Or it's like everything in like my brother is very attached to his dog, so
Okay.
never leaves his side.
That's good. So I'm going to describe attachment in terms of things we can't control. Okay, so for example, when someone works really, really hard towards a goal, they're very attached to that outcome. Okay, but can you control performances and outcomes? Yes or no? No. Okay, if I could control outcomes and I'm a basketball player, would I make every shot in basketball? Yeah, it'd be pretty nice, but that's not how it works. Okay, so if we learn to detach from things we cannot control, okay, we're going to feel a lot better about things. All right, you guys are a lot younger than I thought. Does anybody in here know who Mike Tyson is? Oh, okay, decent. Who's Mike Tyson? Okay, that is what he's known for. All right, so moral of the story, he's a famous boxer. Okay, so listen to the story. It's a good story. All right, so Mike Tyson had a big fight coming up. All right, and there was a celebrity that wanted to come and say hi to Mike Tyson and then get out. All right, so he comes up, he says hi to Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson's just chilling. He doesn't look very amped up about his fight. He's just his normal self. He's enjoying himself. All right, and the celebrity tries to get up and leave. Okay, because he doesn't want to bother Mike Tyson before this big fight. And Mike Tyson got mad at him for trying to leave because he wanted to talk to him. All right, and the celebrity goes, aren't you nervous about this fight? And what Mike Tyson says, he goes, I have nothing to worry about. I've done everything I can possibly do to do my best in this moment, but I can't control this moment. Does this make sense? So he has surrendered to the result. He's done everything in his power beforehand, but he can't control the result. So he's surrendered to it. Does this make sense? Yes? Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do for this activity, it's called an even if activity. So a lot of us, when we work really, really hard towards a goal, okay, and I'm using a lot of sports examples because that's what I'm used to talking about, but you can do this if you're in music or a really, really good student. It could apply to any goal that you have, okay? So say I work really, really hard at basketball, okay, and my goal is to become a Division I basketball player. A lot of what ifs run through your head. What if I put in all this work and I don't get the goal I want? Right? What if I put in all this training this off season and then I break my leg? Right? A lot of these what ifs. We want to change your what ifs to even ifs. So even if I work really hard and don't become a D1 basketball player, I'm still going to build a work ethic that translates to all other areas of my life, which translated to my business and my ability to talk to you right now. Do you see how that works? So even when we don't accomplish something, okay, when we detach from the outcomes, all right, we still have so much to learn from the process of getting there. Hold up before we raise our hand. I love that you're raising your hand though. Okay? Are we clear on what this means? Yep, there's more directions to go, right? That's awesome. Okay? So everyone right now is writing, even if I don't accomplish my goal, whatever that is specific to you, I'm still going to accomplish this, this, and this. I'm still going to learn this and this and this. Are there questions about this? No? Give me some examples. Let's hear something that I haven't said. Anybody? Who's got a goal in here? Everybody should have their hand. I'm sure all of you have goals, right? So everybody should have an answer right now. Okay. Do we have the even if activity? Yes? Or are you still working on it? Did you have it written down? Beautiful. Let's hear it.
Even if I don't win the horse race, I still got to practice a lot.
Yes. So you learned a lot from practice? That's beautiful. What's her name? Win?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Win, you're going to come up and can you do the happiness baseline for me? Beautiful. Okay, let's do one more. You two have raised your hand a lot, which is great. Keep raising your hand. One more volunteer that hasn't said anything yet. You said something. Someone who hasn't raised their hand yet. Let's go. Yep.
Even if I don't get first place in the fair, I'm still gonna learn how to take care of my animals better.
That's really good. Okay, so what else can you learn from not winning? Can you learn how to handle not winning? Is that important? Yes. Okay, so that's beautiful. All right, great job, Wen. Now, on to our third step to increasing our happiness baseline. Experiences. Experiences. All right, so everyone write this down. Experiences. Can anyone tell me what an experience is? It's kind of hard to define.
Something you go through.
Something you go through. Yes, so it's the process of living through moments in your life. So it could be either present or past. All right? Once you've written experiences down, pencils down, eyes and ears. Okay, everybody good? They got that written down? Okay, so listen. How we view the world is based off the experiences we have. Okay? So when we chase new experiences, it expands our reality and view of the world. So we have a much bigger view of the world, and we have more ways to see the world when we chase new experiences. Okay? An example in my life of how I've tried to implement chasing new experiences, okay, to raise my happiness baseline. From ages 4 to 16, what is everybody's order for food from a restaurant?
Big Mac or
Okay, can you get a Big Mac at every restaurant? No. Okay, Did you forget, buddy? That's okay.
Chicken tenders.
Boom, chicken tenders. That's all I ordered for like 12 years. All right, which is great. It's an old reliable. No more hand raising. Which is great. It's an old reliable, right? You're always going to get the same experience when you order chicken tenders. But how do you know something else isn't better? You don't. You have a very small reality. Does this make sense? My girlfriend, she actually runs our sports nutrition page for Close the Gate, but she's really big into food. All right? And now my favorite food's sushi. So I went from ordering chicken tenders 3 years ago to now my favorite food's sushi. Right? So that's an example of expanded reality. But how we start with small, chasing new experiences, with small things like food, it translates to big things like travel. Right? Because when we travel, we see things and become more appreciative of what we have. When we travel and we see someone on the side of the road who's starving and doesn't have any food, when you go home and sit at the dinner table, are you going to appreciate that food a little more? Yes. So that's the idea of expanding your reality. So for this activity, what you're going to do is, it's called the Try Something New activity. Try something new activity. So we're going to write that down in our notebooks. And I want everyone to think of something that they always do the same of. It could be within food. It could be always sitting by the same friends at lunch. Okay, it could be anything you do the same of each day. And I want you to try and chase a new experience, okay, by doing something different than what you do every day. Are there questions about this? No? Beautiful. Okay, this is going to take like 30 seconds to a minute, so think hard. It's okay if it takes time to think about these things. I'm not going to rush you. Anybody want to give examples?
I always sit at the same spot every time I eat dinner.
Same spot every time you eat dinner? That's good. So talk to a different family member?
Don't sit in a different spot.
Okay. So this is good that we talk about that. So is sitting in a different spot really changing your experience? Maybe an example of a school table where there's a lot more kids and you talk to different people, that could change it. But in terms of your dinner table, probably not a lot's going to change. So try and think of something you do the same of every day that will change your experience.
I sit with the same people every day at lunch.
At lunch? Okay, that's good. Let's hear an example I didn't say.
Maybe if you work out, maybe you could change that.
Okay, that's really good. So Gabby said if you work out, maybe changing what you do during your workout. That's awesome. Anything else? No? Okay, Gabby, have you come up to change the happiness baseline yet? Okay, beautiful. Thanks, Gabby. Does everybody have something written down at least for experiences? Yes? Okay, I gotta go. We're already a little behind. All right, so the fourth thing we're gonna write down, kids, is learning. And I apologize for my handwriting. It's normally a lot better. It's hard to draw on a whiteboard. So next time you see your teacher, give them props if they have good handwriting on a whiteboard. All right, so write down learning, right? Learning. Learning's not fun. Okay. Well, I'm going to make it fun. All right, so I need 5 volunteers to come up. 1. Who hasn't done you? Boom. You, buddy, and you. Say 5 volunteers. Let's go. Come up. It's not a huge deal who goes and who doesn't. Okay? So come on. Stand in front of a water bottle and a cup. Spread out a little, facing the school. Beautiful, okay? So I want, maybe spread them out a little bit so you have room, okay? So, and scoot in so he has room. There we go, beautiful, okay? So what's gonna happen? I want all of you to open up your water bottle. When I say go, you can pour at any speed you want into this cup, but you cannot stop pouring until I say to stop. Does this make sense? So you can't stop until I say stop. Do we got this? Yeah? Ready? Go. A little faster. Pour a little faster. You guys are doing good. Some of you are pretty slow. Stop. Okay, so that was fun. Put the water bottles down. Does anybody have a guess on why I would do this?